Hello, everybody, and welcome to CTI 105 for the summer of 2016. This is just an introductory video. This is sort of like what we would do on the first day of class if we were meeting on the ground. So I will give you a general overview of the course, how things work, how things will run, all of that sort of thing. So I will go over the syllabus, I will go over the schedule, I will go over the online homework system, these sorts of things. So before we get started though, so I'm Dr. McCune. This is me right here, and this is my newborn son. We both are wearing shirts that indicate that we're sort of classy and dressed up, so we're ready to go to like a Harem and Jewel series concert. But since they're t-shirts, we are also down to party if the need arises. So anyway, here's me. This is my son, Kieran. He is now, as I'm taping this, he is 6 weeks old. Okay, so here is the syllabus. So I'm Dr. McCune. This course has no office hours because it's online, but if you have a question on anything, the first thing you should do is just email me. So we can meet in person if you're taking this course in Kansas City. I live in Kansas City, and I will be here for most of the course. But mostly we can just Skype. So the last time I taught this course, I think I met with 2 students in person who requested to, but otherwise it was all chatting via email and over Skype. But anyway, no matter how you want to contact me, email is the first thing you will do, and then we will find a way that works for both of us. The textbook is Excursions in Modern Mathematics. The resources for the course are the book itself. You will be reading the book since you won't be seeing me on the ground. You know, students who take the course in person can get away with not reading the book because of the class time, right? Because of the lectures I give and things like this. But you all don't have that luxury. You will need to be reading the book quite closely. For each section of the book, there's a video on YouTube that I've made. Those are also available to you. Another resource is me, and the final resource is the course forum. So I'll be saying more about this later, but essentially it's a place you can go to ask questions, and answering questions that I post is part of your grade. So you must post in the forum sometimes, but you can also use it to ask questions of your classmates. So speaking of videos on YouTube, here is the link to my channel where the videos are. If you go to that link, you should see something like this. So the main thing for you is notice I have created playlists. The playlists are by topic. So graph theory is a topic which spans chapters 5 and 6. So if you click on that, up come all the videos. All right? So you'll just march through these one by one. The first section that we cover is voting theory. That's chapters 1 and 2. So you will start with this playlist. So anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory on YouTube, the videos that you watch. And here is a link, excuse me, to the first content video of the course. So let's see if I put that in here. What does it take you to? It thinks about it, and then it takes you to the video on sections 1.1 and 1.2. Okay. Course webpage. So we have a webpage that's it's like a Moodle page, but not really, or something. I'm not sure how it works. It's this online.jewel.edu thing and not Moodle. But it still looks like Moodle. So I don't really know why this is not Moodle, but whatever. This is the system that the college forces me to use rather than the normal Moodle page for online courses. So the syllabus is in here. The course schedule is in here, which we'll go over in a second. And then notice the website is broken down by topic. So voting theory has its own section here with stuff. Probability and stats has its own section with stuff, etc. So there's not a ton here, you know. These here are forum questions, which you have to answer, and we'll talk about those later. Each individual topic section has a link to that YouTube playlist. So like if I click on this, whoop, okay. Sorry, let me go back in here. Yeah, so it gives me that that playlist, right? So I've already given this to you, but it's also individually in there in each section of material. Also, each section has a learning objectives document. So in case you're wondering what you're supposed to be learning, each section has a PDF or a Word document saying what you should be learning. So for example, in the voting theory section of material, you'll be learning about different voting methods. Different voting methods can declare a different person a winner. So this is just saying you should be able to say who the winner is according to each of those voting methods, etc. So these objectives make more sense, of course, once you have the vocabulary for the section, like, plurality with elimination. What does that even mean? Well, you won't know until you read the section, but at the very least, it's a voting method. It's a way of declaring a winner of an election, and you should be familiar with it by the end of the chapter. Okay, so this is the online.jewel.edu site. It has the syllabus, the schedule, and then topics broken down with learning objectives and links to the playlists and forum questions. Okay, so here are the objectives for CTI 105. We want to improve the ability to apply math concepts to a variety of situations, improve problem-solving skills, an emphasis on real-world things. Mostly, though, what this course is about is encountering interesting mathematics that is outside the scope of the traditional algebra pre-calculus material. So if you think about the the math you saw in high school, almost all of it was like, solve this quadratic equation, graph this polynomial, do some trigonometry. It was all basically algebra with the goal of you eventually taking calculus. Okay, so most high school math is geared towards teaching calculus later. But since you are in this course, I'm guessing that you're not going to take calculus. And that's fine, So for our students that don't take calculus because they don't want to be an engineer or whatever, there's still all sorts of interesting and really quite beautiful mathematics out there to learn about. And all math, whether it's calculus or not, can improve the way you think. It can help you solve problems, can help you learn to abstract. There's all sorts of benefits to learning some mathematics. So here's what we will learn: some financial stuff, some probability stats, some networking/graph theory. That's really nice. How mathematics applies to voting. That's really beautiful. And fractals, which of course are quite beautiful. So the idea of this course is that we know, and when I say we, I mean the math department and the college generally, we know that this is a terminal math course for you. We know that you're probably not going to go on to be an engineer or physicist or whatever, And we also know that many of you maybe had, how should I put it, maybe bad experiences with math. So maybe your math foundation is weak. Maybe you don't remember anything about pre-calculus. So this course was built with all that in mind. You don't have to really know anything coming into this course. I don't care if you know the quadratic formula. I don't care if you know what a polynomial is. I don't care if you don't remember what sine and cosine are. None of that matters. In a course like this, we assume almost zero background. Basically, I assume you know arithmetic. So we start from there, and then we just teach you some really nice mathematics that doesn't require hardly any background knowledge. So anyway, it's a nice course like that. Okay, so homework. You will, of course, have homework. So this is slightly confusing. The course webpage is this online.jewel thing. The homework, though, is through a different webpage. The homework is through MathExcel, which is at mathexcel.com. When you go to mathexcel.com, this is what you will see. The very first time you go there, you need to register. So it says start here, and you people are students, so you click on students. And then it says, do you have these three things? Because you will need these three things. First of all, do you have an email address? Of course you do, so check. Do you have a course ID? Why, yes you do, and it's this. So you will need to copy and paste this in at some point when it asks you. Third thing, an access code. Okay, so the course ID is basically a course code. So you need some sort of code to tell MathXL what course you're in. Okay, there are thousands of courses inside the system. You have to tell it which course you're in. The access code just gives you access to MathXL itself. If you bought a new textbook, the code comes with your textbook. If you don't have a textbook, that's perfectly fine. You will just need to purchase an access code here. So when it says OK, register now, one of the options for you will be to purchase an access code if you don't have one. And if you don't have a textbook, the access code is much cheaper than a textbook. Okay, so it's not going to screw you by insisting you pay the same amount as a textbook if you don't have a textbook. So anyway, if you don't have a book or you purchased a used one, you're going to have to buy access. So once you're in there, I can't show you exactly what it will look like because when I sign in, I'm the instructor, so it looks different for me, but it's an approximation. So I will sign in. And this internet is not going quickly. All right, thinking about it still. Okay, so MathXL has this highly obnoxious feature that once you log in, it's like, hey, welcome. Do you really want to go in? And you're like, of course I want to go in. I just logged in. This drives me crazy every single time. Okay, that's fine. So anyway, so you tell it like, yes, I really, really want to go in, even after I just logged in. And so now something like this shows up. And for you people, like this is all instructor stuff, so you won't see this. Homework and tests is what you care about because you will, of course, be taking homework and tests through here. And it just lays out all the assignments for you. It tells you the due dates, gives you a time. They're named appropriately, so it tells you exactly what they're over. Okay, so it's nice. It just shows you everything. It's missing a couple of exams. I'll have to see about that. But anyway, all the homework is up. So you have 13 homeworks. Here they are. And you should also have exams 1, 2, and 3 here listed. And I don't know why they're not up yet, but anyway, they'll be up. So this is basically all you'll need to see. And so you'll click on each of these to do them, and it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have any issues with any of that, you should, of course, just send me an email. Yeah, so the reason we use online homework, even in on-the-ground courses. The reason is that it lets you try a problem as many times as you want. So this is very important when you are learning material because there's no reason to expect you to get a problem right the first time when you're still learning things. So online homework systems allow you the ability to try again and get further feedback if you miss the first time. So after 3 tries or so, you may have to click something that looks like this, and then it will change the numbers on you, but the problem will be the same. Homework is due according to the schedule on the course webpage, and as I showed you, due dates and times are listed next to each homework. So there's no excuse not to know when something is due. Okay, so here's how grading breaks down. Homework, participation in the forums. We have 4 exams plus a final. Okay, so 4 exams are given according to the schedule. They'll be administered through MathXL. You may or may not have to take a proctored final. I'm not sure yet. I'll, of course, let you know well in advance. Okay, so forum participation. So for each block of material, there will be questions I post to the forum. You can view them now. They're up on that online.joule site. You have to give a thoughtful response to each question I post. So this, of course, is quite vague. I mean, what does a thoughtful response look like? Well, you know one when you see one, essentially, Furthermore, you have to respond to at least one other post made by a classmate per question. So if I post 2 questions to the forum for chapters 1 and 2, which I did, you can see those 2 questions up, you have to answer each of those 2 questions. So that's 2 posts. You then have to make 2 more posts responding to what others have written, for a total of 4 posts. You are not graded for correctness, only graded on demonstrating that you took it seriously. So you gave the question more than 10 seconds of thought. You actually thought about it for maybe 10, 15 minutes or something, and then made your post. It's graded on an all or nothing basis. As long as you demonstrate you're taking this seriously, you get full credit. But otherwise, you'll receive no credit for this. You don't cheat. You can't use calculators, really. You can use like what are they called? I mean, non-scientific calculators, So like the basic little TIs that don't have 80s after their names, you can use those. If you need accommodations, you certainly can get them. You just need to contact Mrs. Missy Henry. Contact information here. Email. I am pretty good about answering email. So I showed you my 6-week-old son at the beginning of this. He's my second kid. When you have 2 little kids, you get worse about answering email. Okay, so I used to be pretty good about it. I still try to be good about it. What I can guarantee you is that you will receive an answer within 24 hours. Usually, it's much faster than that. I mean, if you email me at 2 in the morning, I'm not going to email you back quickly, but generally, if you email me like in the afternoon, you will have an answer that afternoon. If you send me an email and I do not respond within 24 hours, you must then send me another email saying, hey, why didn't you answer my first email? It's possible for whatever reason it went to my junk mail, or I don't know. I just forgot to answer. That happens every once in a while. So if you send me an email and you don't get a response, you need to contact me about it. Okay, so lastly, here is the schedule. This is on that online site. Let's make it bigger. So you should be checking this pretty frequently. It breaks down exactly what happens when. So on Tuesday, June 7th, I am expecting that you will do the following things. I am expecting that you will read the section on the plurality method, which is section 1.2. I am expecting that you will watch the video over that material. And then I'm also expecting you to know there's homework due on this particular day. Okay? And so on down. So on June 8th, a Wednesday, I'm expecting you will read section 1.3 of the textbook. You will watch the video on this material that I posted. You will then presumably work on the homework from section 1.3. There's nothing due on Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All of this material, 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5 are all rolled into homework 2. But anyway, you should be doing everything I just described. Students almost never read the textbook. That is a mistake in a course like this, okay? It is very difficult to learn on your own anyway. It's much more so when you're not reading the book, so online courses are difficult. There's just no getting around it. Not to sound full of myself or something, but I do have a lot of value added in an on-the-ground course. It is extremely valuable to be able to talk to me face-to-face over the course of 15 weeks, okay? In an on-the-ground course, you see me 3 times a week in class. You can come see me whenever you want during office hours, etc. You can have a ton of face-to-face contact. Online courses are different. So as a substitute for all of this interaction with me, you really do need to be reading the book. You really do need to be watching these videos. And then, of course, if you don't understand something, you have to email me about it. But anyway, the textbook is pretty readable. It's not terribly technical. The language is not terribly elevated. You might not understand everything it says all of the time, but it is a pretty readable book. So you should be reading it and watching the videos on the days that are laid out in this schedule. So we will be sticking to the schedule exactly. There will be no deviation from this. The exam dates are set in stone. The homework dates are set in stone, etc. So here's the entire summer laid out for you, all the way down to a cumulative final on July 29th. So I hope all that made sense. Again, if you have any questions about anything, please just email me. And I look forward to hearing from you guys after June 6th.